So in this screencast, what we're going to do is we're going to explore the sine law. And so the sine law says that if you take the sine of angle A and divide it by the length of the opposite side, it's going to be equal to the sine of angle B divided by the length of its opposite side. And because we've got a triangle, there are 3 angles and 3 sides where this ratio works. And so here in this GeoGebra web app, I've got this triangle that I can move around. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to test out the sine law by finding sine of A divided by A. So sine of A is sine of 128.42 degrees divided by 18.92 units. And that's equivalent to 0.78 divided by 18.92. Which ultimately gives me 0.04. Now, if the sine law is true, then I should get 0.04 for the other 3 ratios, for the other 3 fractions. And so sine of B divided by B is really sine of the angle at B, which is 25.52. And then I divide that by the side opposite, which is 10.41 units, which gives me 0.43 divided by 10.41, and yes, it gives me 0.04. And let's try that one more time for the third and final angle, angle C. So sine of C is sine of 26.05 degrees divided by the side on the opposite side, so divided by 10.61. This gives, on the calculator, 0.44 divided by 10.61, which is also 0.04. So 3 times we get the same value. We get that the fractions come out to the same amount, and so that is what the sine law says. No matter how I change the triangle, no matter what the angles are, the ratio of these three fractions, these 3 ratios, will always be the same amount. What we can do with this is find missing sides. We can create a proportion, which is basically making 2 fractions equal to each other. And what we can do is find the missing side. So I've placed the triangle the way it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a proportion to show you how you can find a missing side or a missing angle. So if I have sine A over the opposite side A, then I can make it equal to sine B over the opposite side B, because we know that it's the same value. So sine of angle A is 122.85 divided by 17.22 equals sine of angle B is 21.81 divided by, and we'll make that opposite side some unknown value, which I'll call x. I'll write it in red. And so now the idea is to find the value of x. Well, that's not so hard because we can cross multiply. Sine of 122.85 is a numerical value, and the sine of 21.81 is also a number. And so really what we have is 2 fractions, and we're missing one of the denominators. So x is really equal to 17.22 times whatever sine of 21.81 is, divided by sine of whatever sine of 122.85 is. So this is how we cross multiply. We can move values across the equal sign diagonally. So I brought the x up, the sine 122 down, and the 17.22 up. And so on the calculator, this will give me 7.62, and therefore the side that I'm missing is 7.62 units long. And if you check the triangle on the left, you can see that sine of B, you can see that this length is 7.62. Now we can do the exact same thing while looking for an angle. So if the missing measurement that we're looking for is in fact an angle, we can use the exact same strategy of cross-multiplying through a proportion to solve for the missing angle. So here we're going to say sine of some unknown angle. We're going to make that unknown angle angle A, which means that the opposite side of angle A is side A, and that's going to be equal to sine of angle B divided by the opposite side, which is side B. So sine of x, we don't know what x is. Sine of x over the length of A is 14.79, so over 14.79, equals sine of angle B, sine of 29.07, divided by side B, which has a length of 7.62. And so we cross multiply like before. We bring the 14.79 up. And so sine of x is equal to 14.79 times sine of 29.07 divided by 7.62. And so sine of x becomes, sine of x equals, let's write the x in red, sine of x equals, and this gives us 0.94. And so to solve for the angle x, what we do is we need to get rid of the sine, and we do that by taking the sine inverse on both sides. The sine inverse will cancel with a sine, leaving us with x all by itself on the left-hand side. So sines cancel, and x is what I'm left with on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, sine inverse of 0.94 gives us 109.33 degrees. And so this is how we can use the sine rule to find either a missing angle or a missing side. Now I'm going to put the link up for this GeoGebra app with this triangle in it so that you can play around and experiment with whatever triangle you want to make.